I didn't know the word asset. I didn't know the word liability. None of that stuff was there. And so from there, it just really led me down the path of, okay, this is how they do it. How can I do it? Make sure you have capital in place for capex and don't just try and do it from cash flow. I did it well on my first park. I thought I was such a rock star. Oh my gosh, look how well I did this. And then in my second park, 2 years after getting in, and we all recouped our money. No one made anything, but no one lost anything. But it was because we didn't have money in place to do the business plan. Every time I'm talking to someone who's relatively new, they're like, how do you just find these deals? And I say, we don't really find them, we make them.
Welcome to another edition of Lifetime Cash Flow through Real Estate Investing. I'm Rod Cleef, and I'm thrilled you're here. And I know you're going to get a ton of value from the gentleman I'm interviewing today. We've been giving each other shit for the last 30 minutes before we started recording, so that was fun. So his name's Tim Woodbridge. He's in about 1,000 mobile home park pads, which is an asset class I really like. He's an RN, started his career in hospitals, which I really admire because, nurses have big hearts. I wish I could say I had a heart that big, but I don't. But anyway, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
I'm lying. I have a big heart, but I couldn't do the nursing thing. But welcome, buddy. So why don't you do a much better job with your bio than I just did and talk about you came from nursing, maybe a few minutes on that or a little bit on that, and then why real estate?
Yeah. So, I grew up and my dad's a really hard worker, and he always said, get a good job, get a stable job, work. And I mean,
same.
He works till this day, and he's good at it. He just doesn't know how to not do it. And, I got a bachelor's degree in nursing, did that for a while. Stumbled upon Rich Dad Poor Dad, like everyone does, right? And it's like turned the light switch on for me. I didn't know the word asset. I didn't know the word liability. None of that stuff was there.
Right.
And so from there, it just really led me down the path of, okay, this is how they do it. How can I do it? So I read more. I listened to podcasts. I joined meetups. Just really got around people who were doing it. And
this was in Charleston, where you're at?
In Charleston, where I am now.
Okay.
And I heard Frank Rolfe was on the Bigger Pockets podcast talking to Brandon about it, and I was like,
he was just on that couch like a month ago.
That's so cool. That's it's totally like this amazing life that I have, in that I was on Frank's podcast, and I'm like, I also met Brandon Turner, and I'm like, this is where it started. It's so incredible.
That's really cool. For those of you who don't know, Frank Rolfe has been teaching mobile home park investing longer than you can imagine. I've actually gone to his presentation twice, actually, because when I was going to get into it 10 years ago. So it was kind of interesting to have him here as well. So
he's the goat. He's the goat, man.
Yeah.
He's so kind and like,
he's a nice guy,
generous with his teachings. But yeah, it excited me. So I said, okay, I didn't know you could buy mobile home parks. And the funny thing is, when my parents split when I was 10, my mom went and bought a double wide in a mobile home park in Southern California, and I was raised in that mobile home park.
Oh, wow.
So it never even crossed my mind that was something you could do. But once I was open to the possibility, I just went from there. Frank said, go check out mobilehomeparkstore.com. And I thought it was fake. I went to the website. I found one kind of an hour or so from me. I called the guy, built some rapport, and then got it under contract. And I was flying by the seat of my pants.
How many pads was that first one?
36.
Okay, just almost too small, maybe a hair too small for you to have an on-site person there. Frank, I think, says try to have 50, I think was his back then.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's less than that now with the inflation, but okay.
No, there was no on-site manager.
It didn't have like a lagoon or anything, did it?
No,
okay,
no, thankfully.
Right. By the way, some of these parks guys have these literally, it's like a pond of sewage, and it's called a lagoon. And it's one of these things you absolutely do not want. Okay. And so you did your first park on your own.
Well, with a partner.
With a partner. Okay.
Yeah,
but you JV'd it then.
JV,
okay.
Yeah, very simple.
Okay. And then, and that was in South Carolina as well then? Okay. Yeah. And now the rest of your portfolio is just kind of scattered around Southeast. You said you had one in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Okay. And Talk about why you love mobile home parks. I mean, I know the answer to these questions just because I've been involved in it so much, but let them hear it from someone other than me.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was listening to Frank talk about it on the podcast, I really loved, you got sticky tenants, you have generally people who own their own homes, you have a lower expense ratio, and it was a little weird. It's different. It's not multifamily. It's not single family. It's a niche multifamily, and it just excited me. Add that on top of, me kind of coming up in a mobile home park and realizing like there's need there. It grabbed me, and so I've stuck with it.
So it's interesting is I just had one of my coaching students, one of my warriors who owns mobile home parks, and he does park-owned homes, okay, which is painful. So what we're talking about here, guys, is the more prominent business model is you buy the park and you let the tenants buy the homes. Like you can finance them and everything else. That way they're more responsible for them. They're responsible for the maintenance and upkeep, even though that doesn't mean it's going to happen, but they're responsible for it. And they pay park rent. And so you're basically basing the value on park rent. And it was interesting to hear this guy. He's successful, and of course it's a lot more cash flow in his case, but it's a lot more brain damage too, because these homes aren't the most well-constructed things on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. And there's so many different ways to do it. You can do tenant-owned homes. You could, do all park-owned homes.
Right.
We do kind of a hybrid. Like when
you
we
do
buy a
both?
park and it has park-owned homes already, we don't shy away from it.
Right.
But we do our best to convert them to tenant-owned homes.
And that's what most people do, right?
Yeah. So there's definitely different ways to do it, and everyone has different loves,
Yeah. Well, it's the thing about mobile homes, like you just said, they're very sticky because if they leave, especially if they own the home, if they don't pay their lot rent and, they can't, it's very expensive to move a home. What is it now to move one? Just curious. It was $5,000, I think, last time I checked.
It's $5,000 plus you got to set it up. So it's
Right.
another 10-ish grand depending.
Really?
So yeah, probably 15 total.
15 to move into another location
to move
now?
and set it up. Yeah.
Okay.
It's costly,
wow.
man.
Wow. That's a lot more than it was back when 10 years ago when I started exploring this. So again, they're not going to, it's going to be hard pressed to get them to leave their home. They do still sometimes, but yeah, so they're sticky. Have you had any issues? Do you have any assets in Florida?
Not yet.
Okay. Because I know in Florida, if you raise the rents, there's some rules around, tenant approval and things of that nature. Have you encountered that in any of your parks, just out of curiosity?
We haven't, and that's
Okay.
why we're really focused just on the Southeast.
Right.
There's deals all over the country,
Right.
but we know the Southeast. We're good at it. We stay
So when you
away
say
from that
Southeast,
stuff.
where are you?
So Carolinas, Georgia, Southern Virginia, looking to get into Alabama and Tennessee as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm scared of the Deep South, man. I've had such bad experiences in Memphis and Shreveport. I'm scared of the Deep South, but God bless you if you want to go for it there. Because not only are you in the Deep South, you're in the lowest. I shouldn't call it that way. You're in the least successful demographic. I try to be nice about it in the Deep South. Oh my God.
So we stay, okay, and everyone's going to hate on me for this.
Right.
This is more my ignorance, but we stay away from Louisiana. We stay away from Mississippi for kind of the same reason.
Right. And stay out of Memphis. Listen, and if you're in Memphis, I love you, but too, okay? Just be honest, okay? I had 200 houses in Memphis, and I had a 403 unit in Shreveport. Oh my God, they're both the bane of my existence, but you live and learn.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard for the tenants to move. Nobody wants them in their backyard, so nobody's building them anymore.
Accurate.
Right.
Accurate. Plus, they don't make anything relative in taxes. So sure, there's NIMBYism, not my backyard. I don't want it. It looks bad.
Right.
But also the county or the city, they realize that it's not going to bring taxes because you tax the real estate, which is the land, and then the personal property, which is the trailers.
Right.
So your single family home division, your apartment building, all of those bring in way more taxes.
Interesting. So there's another reason they don't want it. Yeah. I've met one guy that's building one right now, and I'm like, how the hell did you pull it off? Because it's just people don't want them in their backyard, and the other things you just described. So there is that. It's probably the least expensive affordable housing that there is. 'Cause, it's 100% affordable.
Yeah.
It's 100% affordable. 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 It's 100% affordable.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, other than maybe some of these, where they build these, what do you call them? Where you throw a little house in the back in your backyard.
Oh, the ADUs.
Yeah, the ADUs,
Yeah,
unless maybe an
yeah.
ADU or something. But okay, and so, and I know the returns are very good.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. I mean, these are management intensive. So let me ask.
Not mailbox money.
No,
not
this is
passive.
no, this is not passive income. So let's talk about some of the nuances of the management.
Sure.
So you've got 1,000 pads. How many parks is that?
22.
Okay. And do you use third-party property management? You manage yourself?
No. So
Okay.
from the beginning, I got good at this because I did everything myself. And then as I went, I get, VAs and people to help with it. But it's all in-house management. And that's the only way that we can effectively keep track of everything and really ensure that everything's running the way it's supposed to.
Right.
Twice I did third-party property management in mobile
train
home
wrecks,
parks.
right? Oh,
Bro.
they're train wrecks in multifamily sometimes. I'm dealing with one right now. I've got to sue this management company. They're freaking terrible. I mean, lying and misleading and leaving stuff out. It's terrible.
You're just not aligned. You know, So from the beginning,
So you manage yourself. So
yeah,
22 parks in, I think you rattled off at least 4 or 5 states.
Yeah.
So how do you effectively manage long distance like that? Give some strategy.
Yeah. So the heart of the management company is our back office. So, we have all the SOPs for, leasing, for collections, for maintenance, all that stuff. And then at each park or each group of parks, we have a local community manager, but they're mostly just there to help, to assist, get everything done.
Assisting your back office in the tight management of your KPIs, things like that. Now your community manager, do they live on site?
Sometimes, and that's been pluses and minuses.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard it all. See, I told you one of my best friends is Kevin Bupp, and he's got a shit ton of parks, and that's a technical term. And he's got a bunch, and my brother owned a bunch of mobile home parks as well, and worked with Kevin for a while. So I mean, I know the business a lot. I was going to get into it a lifetime ago. I had 6 VAs, and I got this from Kevin because Kevin get it. I had 6 VAs geo-tracking mobile home parks on Google Earth because a lot of times they're misclassified in the county record. So we geocoded them and identified who the owners were, and I was setting up to start mailing them. I didn't end up doing it, but that's another story. But because I decided to do multifamily instead, But yeah, I've done a lot of work towards this asset class, and I love this asset class. And so that's how you manage them. How do you find the parks? How do you find the deals? Because there's a lot of people
on market.
Looking.
We do everything on market, through brokers and broker relationships.
It's all brokers.
Yeah, and I every time I'm talking to someone who's relatively new, they're like, "How do you just find these deals?" And I say, we don't really find them, we make them. So sure, someone wants.
Give an example of that statement. I hear what you're saying.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So someone wants $3 million for a park, and we run the numbers, and everything we run is based on the investor returns. So we're 2x equity multiple in 5 years, 16 to 20% IRR. Nothing super crazy, but that's our minimum to make it a viable deal to raise capital for. So say they want, the 2 million, the 3 million, whatever.
They're going to carry.
Yeah, they might carry. At a lower interest rate. They might carry. So what I do is I give them 3 offers for every LOI.
Love it.
It's a cash at close, and then a seller equity, where it's kind of a hybrid. I get a bank loan.
Seller
they put
stays
equity.
in the deal.
Yes, seller stays in the deal. Or it's a full seller carry, where it's 10-ish% down. And there's levers you can pull. It just depends. But it's here's what we can do based on where we're at.
I like that.
11 out of 12 times I'm told no, and
Right.
then it doesn't work, and that's fine.
Right.
But we just go work on the other deal.
Really,
I
1 out
present
of 12 is pretty good.
1 out of 12 is really
in
good.
Multifamily, it's more like 1 out of 300. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's the minimum park size? I mean, what number of pads you'll do now?
I mean, as we get
I
bigger,
know it
we get
depends.
bigger.
Let's say you got a park right next door. Obviously, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if it's out by itself somewhere, what would be the minimum?
Probably 75.
75. Yeah, decent size then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, though, everything's in-house managed. So for all of your listeners who are new, like, I can do it, you absolutely can do it. But I'd caution and say you're probably going to need to be some more hands-on, maybe
initially.
Yeah, well, initially,
you're out there. You're out there raising hell. You're not. It's not just a staff. I mean, you can't afford it.
Yeah,
no, I got you. And so, at what point did you go in-house with your management? Right out of the gate?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about the ascension. Well, ascension's the wrong word. The growth on your management team. Talk about how that happened. At what point did you get this person and that person? And
yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
So initially I started out.
Well, hold on one second before you answer. How long have you been at this? How long have you been?
6 years. Almost 6 years since I closed my first park.
Okay, all right. Now please.
Yeah. So like I was saying, I'm a retired nurse.
Right.
And at the time, I was a nurse. And I didn't have a ton of money.
Side, yeah.
I got into my first deal for $6,300. My partner brought in $25,000, and we closed it. Right.
Wow.
So I was doing everything originally out of necessity, and it really helped because I know the ins and outs of how to run a park effectively. And then probably a year and a half into it, I'm at my friend Ryan's mobile home park meetup, and I'm talking to someone there. And they say, you need to get a bookkeeper. And I was like, I can't afford that. That's crazy. And they say,
get a virtual one?
Get a VA.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my first VA. We still have him. And he does all the bookkeeping for everything. And he's really good and has grown with us.
Where does he live?
Bangladesh.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. So he works, you let him work it in his day because unless you need something.
Yeah. It's not
like you need immediate things. No. You probably got access to the checking account. You got to write a check. You handle it. He just handles it.
Yes. I still do the controller stuff like that.
Because I could, the thing that I think about is like in the Philippines and India, I mean, there are people that will work all night, but they're not at their best if they're freaking working at 2, 3 in the morning. And I mean, it's just human nature. But with someone like that, they can certainly work in their day, get the work done. And then if you need them, you meet with them, right?
Exactly.
In the morning or the evening. Yeah. Okay. No, that's interesting. So you got a bookkeeper, then what?
Yeah. So obviously read-only access to all bank accounts,
Yeah. Okay.
But we trust but verify sort of thing.
Sure.
But so from there, I went through a few different property management assistants, just very, very part-time. And then you
hadn't done third party yet, or you tried it and didn't work?
So let's see. Before the property management assistant, tried third party, didn't like it, didn't work.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's stick with what we're doing. Like, it was difficult because it was just me for a while. And then I started partnering with Matthias and Vinny, so the other two in WCG Investments. And Matthias is great. He was the COO of a car parts manufacturing company in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And we closed 100 units in Spartanburg together. And he is such a rock star with operations.
So he handles your operations.
Yeah. So from there,
so he took that from you. What are you doing these days? Just coasting?
No, not coasting.
Just messing.
Yeah. No, I'm getting that mailbox money now.
Oh yeah. Right.
So I'm still heavily involved in operations, but I take a backseat to him.
Okay.
So
that's
it's
awesome.
It's still building up the property management company. It's still making sure, we're high-level asset managing at the same time.
Is this Matthias? Is it Matthias?
Matthias.
Does he, is he full-time then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's full-time in operations.
He quit his job January of this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You take a management fee, I assume.
Yeah.
And an asset management fee?
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay.
The management fee pays for
his salary.
Mostly the people. No, I mean, so he's a partner, right?
Okay.
So the property management fee pays for the property management stuff, and we get a little bit there. The asset management fee pays us.
Travel, things like that.
Yeah, all that fun
so
stuff.
So is it like 2% on the asset? What do you charge? Just curiosity.
Yeah, we're 2% on gross.
Okay.
So we make sure that we're very aligned with all investors.
How about on management?
We're 5% back office, and then 3 to 5% for that whoever is local.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. So as much as 10% then on the management.
Yeah.
It's heavy management, so I mean it's warranted.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I used to do like just, free lot rent for people for that on-site manager.
Right.
And you get what you pay for.
Right.
So I've learned.
Okay. And so initially you did some yourself, and now you syndicate. You bring in investors, just like Kevin does, and everybody does. I'm doing that for senior housing now, as well as multi.
Nice.
But so what would you say is your superpower as it relates to this business? Why? Because you came from nursing. I want you to speak to the people that are listening. Because, in this business, it's a team sport. And if you play to your superpower and then you in my opinion, hire a line or partner for where you're weak, that's a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
So what did you bring to the table versus like Matthias, if I said that right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely a team sport.
Right.
I walked or crawled, you could say, until I started partnering with Matthias. And yeah, so my strength is creative deal structure and really talking with brokers, making relationships, talking with banks. So higher level stuff, visionary stuff. Matthias is really into the weeds and the underwriting and making sure everything's lining up.
Oh, so he helps with the underwriting as well. So he's analytical.
He's super analytical.
Okay,
and that's good. I used to say the reason we got that Spartanburg portfolio down, I was looking at it and they wanted $4.5 million. I was like, I can't see more than 3.2. And I talked to the broker who's I've talked to him many times, and a friend of mine, and he's like, yeah, we could probably get it done for 3.85. And I'm like, I don't see it, but here you go, Matthias, you tell me. He underwrote it and he said, this is why this is a good deal. And I was, okay, wow. And it's paying us, and it's paying the investors well. And that's why, that's the rocket fuel.
You need that. You need people to bounce things off of. I have a team, and I look for the team. One of the people on the team looks for reasons to do the deal. My partner John and I look for reasons not to do the deal.
That's perfect.
And you've got that kind of a balance. That's really important. So, I have listeners that want to do this business, that want to do, and some of them want to be passive as well. And there's lots of opportunities to passively invest in mobile home parks or in senior housing or multifamily, or, I've got students that do industrial flex space, self-storage, student housing, you name it. But if someone wants to be an operator, what's one action item that they could deep dive on that you could talk about that you might be able to, they could literally start doing immediately if they want to ultimately do this for a business,
Yeah, it's a great question. I get asked that a lot too.
Do you?
It's find deals and run the numbers. And even if you don't know anything until you keep doing it. And it's going to take so many repetitions. I know I said I'm bad at underwriting, and I'm not bad. I'm just not as good as Matthias is. So I know numbers. I know how to pull the different levers. I know how to make the deal work. But yeah, find on-market deals and then just underwrite them. And then once you get good at that, once you do it 50 times, then maybe put out an LOI, and it's probably going to be a no, and that's okay. Get good at hearing no, and then no, this is why, here's my offer. This is why it's so much lower. Don't just be a jerk and give a low offer.
You got to tell them why. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, talk about financing, because financing mobile home parks is a little more challenging than multifamily.
Yeah.
It's gotten better.
Yeah.
But is it primarily banks?
So there's specialty banks. For all your listeners, I mean, if you're new to it, if you have a loan that's going to be probably more than $1 million, use a loan broker. There's specialty loan brokers.
Yeah, we've got one my Warriors use almost exclusively. Yeah.
Love it. And then, the big banks. So we use Vanderbilt as a subsidiary of Clayton Homes.
So Clayton Homes is owned by
Warren Buffett.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway. So they will lend on the park and the homes, because almost no one does. And then we use 5-star a lot if it's mostly tenant-owned homes. They give great rates. And you just got to find the lender who understands the asset.
No local banks then?
Not if I can help it. For smaller stuff, yes. We'll use local banks.
Okay.
But it is a conversation because they generally don't get it.
I see. Interesting. Okay. are there any resources or tools that have helped you along the way here that you could share? Well, I know in your management business, you probably got some mobile home park specific software, or do you use like a Yardi or something like that?
Use Rent Manager.
Rent Manager. So it's the same as multifamily. And then, on your underwriting, did you use Frank Rolf's little thing, or do you got your own spreadsheet now, I assume?
So I've used Frank's in the past. We have a spreadsheet that was a friend developed. We adjusted it a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm always like open to sharing it. It's very open-ended. If anyone wants to hit me up and is interested,
okay.
Like I put a mini course together. I give it away for free. It's
okay.
The more people we can get out there who actually understand things and who come at it from a good place, I think the better. So it's like, if this can help anyone, here.
Okay. All right. Talk, besides evaluating deals, are there any other suggestions you would have for someone just starting out? Is there anything else that you would suggest?
Know what you want, know what you don't. Like, find an area that you like. Don't just look everywhere.
That's good advice.
Know the difference between the different kinds of wastewater treatment and
you need to learn. No, you need to learn the business.
Stuff.
Yeah, you need to know. You need to know what the system should look like, what what wastewater solution is, what the water solution is.
Yes.
If you're on well and septic, you better have secondary thought process around what ifs, right?
Yeah, contingencies for sure.
Right.
And then always like another good thing is find someone who's where you want to be.
Right.
Like
a mentor.
That's my next
question. I mean, you had Frank mentor you. Anybody else, or was it?
Friends who who are way ahead of me and still way ahead of me, and I love that they're ahead of me, and it gives me something to push towards, and then they push that goalpost back even more.
Nice.
But yeah, the cool thing about mobile home parks, the operators, almost everyone is super friendly and willing to help. I go to conferences and it's like we're all in the same boat together.
Yeah.
The better this guy does, the better I do.
Interesting. Well, that's awesome. Any epiphanies as you were in this journey? Any aha moments? You're like, oh, okay, now I get it. Anything like that come to mind?
Absolutely. I like this one. First, make sure you have capital in place for capex, and don't just try and do it from cash flow.
Oh, jeez.
I did it well on my first park. I thought I was such a rock star. Oh my gosh, look how well I did this. And then in my second park, we got out 2 years after getting in, and we all recouped our money. No one made anything, but no one lost anything. But it was because we didn't have money in place to do the business plan.
Yeah. Now you got to raise enough for everything, not just the capex. There's some operating reserves, everything, in case the shit hits the fan. You need some shit hit the fan money. What would you say is the most challenging part of your role right now? What's the most challenging?
So a lot of it is, and it's so different looking back at my whole time in things. It used to be just me figuring stuff out. Now a lot of it is we and me helping to manage the people and helping to really steer the ship and guide us where we're going. Going to conferences and meeting big players and meeting big like equity brokers and capital players and stuff like that, and being like, okay, how can we serve all these other people?
Or do you want to? Because I can tell you, private equity can be very onerous and very controlling and all that as well.
We want probably the 12 to 25% of them that we can work with instead of working for.
Right. Yeah, you want to be careful with private equity. So, a question I haven't asked for quite a while, if you could go back and tell 18-year-old Tim something with what you know now about the business, is there anything you do differently?
So drink less. That's the first thing.
Well,
clearly, right?
Right.
Stay away from that shit.
Well, I listen, and is it okay if I flag where you're at
Yeah,
with that?
yeah,
That you're in long-term recovery from drugs and alcohol, and you've actually got some health challenges with the multiple sclerosis as well. And how long have you been sober?
Almost 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good for you,
yeah.
man. Good for you.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I have a lot of
crazy.
respect for that. I mean, I did my stupid shit. I told you before we started recording. You know, luckily I don't have an addictive personality, so I was able to stop the stupid stuff. But you know, we all go through it. But
Yeah.
you know, that's amazing.
I think the other thing I would say would be like be curious. Be curious about what excites you. Because I mean, sure.
I think curiosity is the most amazing thing you can teach your kids.
Yeah.
Candidly,
Yeah.
to be curious. But yeah. So as it relates to, you know, a student listening here, yeah, be curious. Exactly.
Yeah.
Go see why this works. Why are people making money in it?
Yes.
You know,
yes. Absolutely.
And see what you might like, because there's lots of vehicles here, lots of asset classes, and I've got students. I mean, you know, my Warrior coaching students, they own, I think, probably close to 300,000 units. We're at like 200, almost 280,000 with tracking.
Nice.
And,
nice.
and tons of senior housing, tons of mobile home parks, tons of, you know, like I said, other asset classes. And so you find what you like and you go do it. So curiosity, love it. But are you saying, because the question was, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? Is that what you're telling your 18-year-old self? Or?
Be curious about how to make money. So sure, like, I mean, you know, going and getting a safe job, it was, you know, from that place of fear. But I'd be like, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fall on your ass, and be curious. You know, I always saw people making a ton of money and like, oh my gosh, that sounds so amazing. I wish I could do that. And it was always just a wish. Yeah. But it'd be like, no, be curious. Like, find out how they do that. You'll
find it's a lot less scary than you think. And I'm going to tell you, don't fear freaking failure. Fear being in the same place you are right now 2 years from now. Unless you absolutely freaking love where you are right now. And fear regret. Yeah. You know, I tell the story about this nurse in Australia, a hospice nurse that took care of patients when they were about to die. Her name was Bronnie Ware. And she asked him a question, Tim, and the question was, do you have any regrets? And she wrote a book about it. It's a bestseller, something like The 5 Regrets of Dying or something like that. And, you know, the number one regret was not living the life I could have lived, living someone else's life, not doing what I know I'm capable of. Fuck that.
Yes,
Excuse
indeed.
me, okay?
Indeed.
I mean, fear that. Fear that.
Yes.
Don't fear failure. You know, good Lord. So what's some of the best advice you've ever gotten?
Just keep moving forward, even when you think that everything's crumbling around you and it's the worst thing ever. Just keep.
And you have those moments too.
Oh,
we all do.
Yeah, of course. I probably always will. Yeah, you have those moments.
Sure. I call them seminars when you really get your butt handed to you.
So take a step back and just, okay, this just happens. I'm going to keep going, because if I just stop and go to something else, I'm going to have the same shit.
What besides Rich Dad Poor Dad, is there any other books that you like to gift?
Yeah, I love 10x is easier than 2x.
Right.
Buy Back Your Time. That's one that we're really into right now.
I have that one. Okay, I've got to look at it. I don't think I've read it. Buy Back Your Time.
Oh yeah, Dan Martell knows this stuff. It's really helped us with the business.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'd say those are the big ones.
Do you use an operating system like I use
EOS.
Traction, EOS? Yeah, same.
So Bloom Growth, but it's
similar.
I think offshoot
90-day goals, accountability chart. We just had we just scheduled our quarterly meeting today, actually. So, you know, a lot of people have fear, right? Yeah. So what is fear? F everything and run. That's what a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
You know, but how did you get past the fear of taking down that first deal? Because, you know, as a nurse, you're fairly, you know, analytical, I would guess. You're a little bit, maybe even a little introverted. Were you introverted or were you an extrovert?
I'm still a little introverted.
Introverted. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So this is, you get energy from being alone. Yeah. So how did you get past it? I'm sure there was some fear. How did you get past that fear? How'd you push through it?
I just recognized it. Okay. And like, I still recognize it today. You know, it's like, okay, well, this scares the shit out of me, but I'm going to keep going forward, and I'm going to move with the fear. I'm not going to try and run away from it. So
Tony Robbins says, dance with it. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, you know, I found this park. I called the guy up and I was thinking to myself, please don't answer. Please don't answer.
Wow. Yeah.
And then he didn't. And I was like, oh, thank God. And so I sent a text just like, hey, I'm sorry to bother you, blah, blah, blah. And he calls me back and I just look at the phone and it's so scary. And I answer it. he's the nicest guy.
Right.
He's the nicest guy ever. And
Right.
we just have a great conversation.
Right.
He asked, do you want to come up and see the park? And I said, yes. And I'd never been to this small town in South Carolina before. And so it's scary. I'm driving up like, what the hell am I doing? But I go up and it was way better. And so it was all that made up shit in my head.
No, we fear the emotion of fear, not what's really happening. And that's the sad reality, you know, and everybody feels fear. We achievers call it stress, but we all feel it. You know, but the successful people move through in spite of it. Right.
Yeah.
So what are you married, kids? What's your personal?
I just got married in December.
Congratulations.
Actually. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Almost a year.
Oh, that's a honeymoon. Okay.
Yeah.
No kids yet.
No kids yet.
Okay. So what's your definition of success?
So success is, you know, I'm not the one who came up with this, but doing what I want with who I want, when I want, right?
Wherever I want.
Wherever I want.
Yeah.
I mean, so we got married in December, and then we took a month-long road trip honeymoon to see, I think we saw 20 national parks. So we went all out west.
Did you go to Zion and all that?
Yeah. We went all the way out to Zion and then back down to Arizona and back.
Very cool.
And you know, I had my laptop with me, and I was still doing a little bit of work here and there, but that's
pretty successful, brother.
Well, and I'm excited. I'm excited about building the business and doing the things I'm doing. And I'm also excited about that I can do and go wherever. And
did you do it like a motorhome, or what did you do? Just hotels?
Yeah, hotels.
Oh, very cool. Well, that's the way to do it. The way to do it.
We went like one by one. We figured it out. Like, where are we going to stay tonight, sort of thing.
So, who inspires you? You know, who do you see out there publicly that inspires you? For me, I think Elon's the freaking rock star, and I've got others as well.
Yeah,
I won't throw the political names out there, but I've got others as well.
He definitely inspires me in the like, here's the vision, like, let's get to that. It doesn't matter how crazy it is.
I was just listening to his interview on Joe Rogan, and Joe asked him, how do you do, you know, you got SpaceX, which is like the largest in the world now. You've got Elon, which is, Tesla, largest in the world. You've got this Boring Company. You've got X. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy just blows me away. But who else?
So like Dan Martell really inspires me because he's very cognizant of, you know, you can't grow if you're trying to do everything. And so he's got the replacement ladder, and we're working on that. Okay.
So you're doing that right now. That's really cool.
Yeah. He says, okay, you start with an executive assistant. And I got one.
That's the number one
thing. And I was like, holy shit.
It opened up your world. Opened up your world, didn't it?
Yeah.
I know. When people ask me, what's the first hire I should get? It's always an EA.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And then he says, you know, get someone in operations. Matthias is doing operations. I'm not heavily involved in that as I used to be. Holy shit. That allows me to do big things.
It allows you to leave for a month with your spouse.
Yeah. Well, and then, you know, I can focus on what I'm good at. Yeah. Because I'm good at a couple things. Right. And I'm fine at a lot of other things. Yeah. And I need to stop doing the fine things.
Yeah, no, I tell people, focus on what you're good at, because whatever you're good at, you're going to enjoy as well. So you're not really working, you're enjoying your life, and you're passionate when you enjoy it, and passion's required to influence people. Yeah. So if you can focus on what you're good at, then, and like I say, hire a line of partner for your weaknesses. That's very exciting. Yeah. Are there any favorite quotes?
None that I can think of off the top of my head.
All right. That. My favorite from Tony is live with passion.
Oh, I
love that one.
I can't believe I went to see Tony, and he's on for like 13 hours straight.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know how he does it. It's crazy.
I spent 23 years with him, actually. And which is why because I love mindset and psychology. Yeah. This is why I incorporate a lot of it into the boot camps that I do, into the podcast here. Last question around schooling. I know you don't have any kids yet, but if you could teach school children one thing for an hour a week, what might you teach them that they're not getting? For example,
this is a great question. Yeah. So my wife is a retired school teacher.
Oh,
she
wow.
taught high school.
Wow.
And so, we're both very aware of, like, there's such a deficit. Like, she loves schooling, but, from the inside, she knows the lack there. I think a lot of it would be entrepreneurship. A lot of it would be,
for sure.
because you
Finance.
could do, mindset with that.
Mhm.
You could do,
Mindset,
taking risks and not being afraid of failure. So like all of that can kind of come together and just like take a bet on yourself. You don't have to do what everyone's doing.
They don't teach you that in school. They
No.
don't teach you mindset related stuff like that. They don't teach you, really good time management skills, entrepreneurship, and even college professors teach you that are teaching you business have never owned a business. So
it's crazy.
But well, listen, brother, it's WCG Investments, right?
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming down and spending a little time here. It's been a lot of fun for me.
Great to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you.